Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Monday, November 14, 2022. Countries across the region have begun to model the Jamaican government's new social housing program, NSHP. A team from Trinidad and Tobago was on the island last week to observe operations under the Housing Opportunity, Production and Employment HOPE program with a view to adapt the initiative in the Twin Island Republic. The team was at the handover of 6 units by Prime Minister Andrew Holness in several communities across Clarendon and St. Catherine on Thursday. This is in keeping with a commitment to deliver 20 social houses in November.
The problem of providing housing for the indigent, for persons who have no income, for the poor, it's not just a Jamaica problem. It's a problem right across the Caribbean. And that you are here to observe what Jamaica is doing says quite a bit about the program.
Prime Minister Holness advised the Trinidad delegates to consider the involvement of members of Parliament in the selection process of recipients. The National Road Safety Council, NRSC, is imploring motorists with outstanding traffic tickets to make payments expeditiously. Director of the Road Safety Unit, Canute Hare, made the appeal while indicating that the call for extending the previously proposed December 1 deadline to pay tickets is being considered, with a new date to be determined.
We just want to encourage persons to not to use the month of November and December to create mayhem on the traffic environment. And we'll appeal to all road users, please, drive for the family. And do not drive in such a way that will cause you to get traffic tickets. Let us make a strong decision as road users to behave ourselves on the road network so that no traffic ticket is issued to anyone.
This comes even as many public passenger vehicle PPV operators withdrew their services on Monday, calling for an amnesty to pay their outstanding traffic tickets without penalty. The government is reviewing the request. In the meantime, Mr. Hare says initiatives by several stakeholders are being ramped up to reduce road fatalities, which have so far exceeded 400 for the year. He points to motorists' disregard for the rules of the road as a major factor in the number of lives being lost year on year. To help bring home the point for better road use, the Minister of Transport is implementing a public education campaign and community engagement. The Island Traffic Authority will be deploying more personnel to carry out spot checks to determine defective vehicles. There will also be an increased presence of police on the streets and motorcycle training by the Ministry of National Security and the National Road Safety Council. This will be for cyclists in Mountainside, St. Elizabeth, a major accident hotspot. Fishermen and boat operators are being urged to exercise due diligence when fishing at sea and going into the territories of other countries. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, is urging these individuals to note the changing times and laws of these countries. She says illegal fishing is now a major international issue and measures are now in place for vessels to be seized and the crew liable for imprisonment.
A judicial process. They are not political processes in which governments can engage and on friendship. If a decision is taken to commence that process, it becomes very difficult. I want to call on our boat owners and operators and the captains of these vessels to fish responsibly in our waters. I also want to impress on boat owners the importance of insurance, not only for damage, but for loss and seizure, and more importantly, for the care and protection of their crew.
Senator Johnson-Smith was making her contribution to the State of the Nation debate recently. She says going forward, the Foreign Affairs Ministry will be working with the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries to establish a policy on such matters. Senator Johnson-Smith points out that in recent times, her ministry has facilitated the repatriation of scores of fishermen. Reference was made to the most recent case of 34 Jamaicans who were held in San Andres, Colombia. 33 crew members returned to the island on Friday, with the captain regrettably detained to face charges. 125 Epson Printers will be donated to primary schools to assist in the provision of copies of worksheets and prints from textbooks to students. Minister of Education and Youth Fable Williams welcomed the donation during a handover ceremony at the New Providence Primary recently. The printers were provided through the Usain Bolt Foundation, which is involved in a 2-year partnership with Epson, and it is expected that a total of 225 printers will be supplied to schools across the island. Minister Williams says the donation is one that supports an agreement already established with the Ministry and Copyright Foundation of Jamaica.
Many may not know the significance of printers to our schools, but printers are extremely important. Additionally, I know that all of our schools have an administrative office and they have to do things as well. This is a useful resource for our schools.
The ministry's regional offices will oversee the distribution of the printers to schools. And finally, the Ministry of Education and Youth has scheduled several activities to observe Anti-Gang Week in schools. This is being coordinated by the Ministry's Safety and Security in Schools unit, along with various divisions of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF. The week of activities are aligned with the Ministry's End Violence in Schools campaign. 2 sessions are scheduled for Tuesday, November 15, a virtual anti-gang workshop with Deans of Discipline and Guidance Counselors, and Restorative Practices virtual training with 10 secondary and 7 primary schools. On Wednesday, there will be an anti-gang town hall meeting at the Office of the Commissioner of Police, while Restorative Practices training will continue in targeted schools. For Anti-Gang Day on Thursday, school resource officers and church leaders will hold motivational talks in approximately 100 high schools. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.